What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Grow Your Moving Company podcast, Tighten Up Tidbits, presented by myself and my partner in Tighten Up Training, Chad Coatney, where we answer the questions that our users with Tighten Up Training want to know on how to grow and improve their moving companies. These are short little episodes. We try to keep them to about 10 minutes and address the concerns that are floating around out there in the moving community. So what do you got for us today, Chad?
All right. The first topic is a better explanation on in-home estimates, how to conduct in-home estimates, and basically is there any marketing materials that you should bring with you during the in-home estimate? I can kick it off if you want. So
Yeah, that's a loaded one. There's this could be a multi-part episode because there's a lot that
yeah,
we could teach a all-day course on on-site estimates. But what do you got?
exactly. I mean, on-site estimates for us is super huge because we don't get a ton of lead volume. So we have to make the most out of every lead that we get. And so we try to do in-home estimates for anything over a one-bedroom job just because our conversion rate's much higher. There's more chance for upsells, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, so the first step to an in-home estimate is obviously booking the in-home estimate. And what we do is we have our CSRs, customer service representatives, when they take that call, they are taking all the valuable information that the in-home estimator could use to make sure that the customer feels like we have good communication during the estimate process. And then they're talking up our in-home estimator. So for us, it's, Eric's going to be the one coming out to you. He's actually worked for the company for 5 years. He's our senior moving consultant, and he's going to be able to give you a nice, accurate estimate because we can get eyes on everything, kind of talk about the process. We're going to collect inventory of everything you're moving. You just let us know what you need us to pack and take with us, and we can provide you with a good estimate that day. And then when we book the in-home estimate, Smart Moving, it puts them in an automatic campaign where they're going to get an email saying, hey, we're excited to see you on this date. It's a 2-hour arrival window. The estimator will call you when he's on the way to give you a better ETA. And then we send a video of like what to expect on move day. And it's a nice video we created that shows the whole move process of how we wrap, pack, load, and so on and so forth. And then so the estimator gives him a call the morning of, and he always cracks a joke. He says, hey, Mrs. Smith, this is Eric with Master Movers. I'm on my way to give you your moving estimate. I'm about 30 minutes out. Would you like me to pick up your groceries or your dry cleaning when I'm on the way or anything? And he always gets a little chuckle, lightens the mood, lets them feel a little more comfortable. And then he shows up and all professional in uniform. He parks on the street just in case they don't want him parking in the driveway or if someone's coming or going. And then he knocks on the door because friends knock, strangers ring doorbells. And then the first step is, and I had to burn this in his brain because he's a fast guy, but you greet the customer and then you say, is there somewhere we can sit down so we can discuss your move? Every move is different. I want to make sure we customize this move experience just exactly how you want it. So then he'll sit down at the table and we have this nice estimate folder that we've created, and I can go into that a little deeper. And then he sits down and he has a presentation that he's set up with them, and he's asking all these questions like, what made you call Master Movers? And they're usually like, oh, well, I saw you had great reviews online. Oh, that's awesome. Why else? And then they'll say, my friend Betty recommended you. And when you hear that, you know, like, okay, you're already got a really good chance of booking this job. And then we always tell them about how Master Mover started. You say, hey, Chad started this company 12 years ago with a pickup truck and a 6x12 trailer. And we've grown it now to 30 employees, 20,000 square foot storage facility, 14 trucks. And we've done that by making sure on every move, we are creating a raving fan experience. We want you doing cartwheels in the driveway when we're finished. That's how we get more business. That's how we grow, because we want you telling your next friend about Master Movers and the experience you had. And we want you leaving a 5-star review for us. And what makes us different about other companies is all of our movers are top paid. They get 401k matching. They get life, dental, vision insurance. This is not just a job for them. This is a career. They will do whatever they have to not lose this job. They actually care about this job, unlike just a regular hourly employee that a lot of these guys are hiring. And then they are incentivized daily to get a 5-star review from you. So the company pays out of their own pocket for them to collect a 5-star review from you to ensure that we are delivering the exact experience that we're promising you here today. And then we confirm the move dates, addresses, make sure all that goes smooth. And then we kind of ask them, tell me about the move. What are your specific wants, needs? Do you need packing? Is there anything particularly high value we need to take extra special care of? So we get that whole scope. And this is all going into the notes. We use Smart Moving to ensure that this is going to be translated to the crew on move day. We ask them, have you ever used a professional mover before? And what did you like? What didn't you like? Okay. And then we ask, besides not breaking anything, what can we do to make this a 10 out of 10 experience for you? And they tell us, and we write that down as well. And then we kind of talk about the estimate process, how now we're going to go room by room. We're going to collect an inventory of everything that's moving, be as specific as possible, because this is how now my software here that we've used for 12 years, it will, once we get the exact cubic feet, it'll tell us exactly what this move is going to cost you. So you kind of put the price onto the software. And then you go through the house, you get all the details, and you work the estimate up. You go sit back down at the table. You said, this will only take me a minute. You go work the estimate up right then and there. And you seal the deal right then and there too. You can't just walk out and give them time to think about it, get out their estimates, and try to seal the deal over the phone. You sit down at the table and you close them right then and there. And we always go over our estimate folder. So it's a nice folder that's got a nice little gloss to it. Inside there, this is actually like a cleaning company we recommend and have a referral partnership with, because a lot of people need this service when they are moving in and out of a new home. We have recent client testimonials front and back that we show them. We have why master movers, what makes us different. We have the story of how it all started. We have what is move coverage, because you should be selling that on every job. We have our license and insurance information here, make the customer know that we're a legitimate company. And then we have a moving checklist. We have packing tips. We have an address change checklist for them. We have items that you should not have us move, items we can't move. And then back here is a little brochure I put together from my BNI. I have all my different BNI service providers that I can recommend with trust here if they need any of these services, because we know if we are passing referrals to other companies, they're going to be more apt to pass referrals to us. And then, so we go through all that, and then we seal the deal. You get a deposit with a credit card, and you lock in their dates. And that's pretty well our estimate process. And then afterwards, our estimator will send a text that's automated through Smart Moving, but it'll send a text of like, hey, nice to meet you today, Mrs. Smith. Thank you so much. Just want to let you know we're getting all your move details ironed out, locking down your crew. Everything is good to go. And we'll see you on move day. Call me if you have any questions.
I love that. And it's interesting that you go out to so many, one bedroom or larger than one bedrooms. I think that really is going to come down to how busy are you? Do you have the bandwidth to be able to get out to that many estimates? How much is, what's your lead volume look like? And I think you hit on some really good points there. The law of reciprocity, calling to ask if they'd like a cup of coffee on the way, that like you said, gets a little chuckle out of them. Most people, 99% of the time, are going to say no. But for the ones that say yes, you're giving them something. You walk into a car dealership to buy a car, they give you a bottle of water. And now, cars obviously a much bigger expense, but they now want, people genuinely or generally want to return that favor. So that law of reciprocity is great. If you can think of some kind of a nice item to give to somebody when you first greet them, like a welcoming gift. I recently found a new mechanic by our new warehouse, and I took my truck over there just to scope them out for an oil change. They gave me this beautiful mug with a bunch of candy in it wrapped up. And obviously I'm on the Tighten Up Challenge, so I had to give the candy to my girlfriend. Couldn't eat it, but it was a really thoughtful gesture. The last thing I would expect from a mechanic. Yeah, and I think moving companies fall into that similar category. And then you brought up another really key point, and that's to ask for the business before you leave. Anytime I have an on-site estimator who isn't closing a lot of business, the first thing I look to see is, are they working up the quote at the home or out in their car at the driveway and coming back into the home, presenting it with the client, going over it, answering their questions and saying, hey, we got limited availability on this day. I really like you, Mrs. Smith. I want to make sure we get our best guys on this job.
Eric, the estimator.
Would you prefer it on the first or the second? Or would you like to put the deposit? That's all we take is $100. Don't get ripped off by these companies, asking for $2,000 or whatever it is. Would you like to put that on a Visa or MasterCard? Rolling into that close. And then, they have objections, whatever it might be, handle those objections. But you got to ask for the business. You got to present the quote. You can take it one step further and get a little portable printer and print it off for the older folk that may have trouble navigating the e-sign. They make these printers for like 50, $100 on Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, and it plugs in with a USB-C to your phone, or some of them now you can even airdrop to them and they're rechargeable, or they plug into your car. And you could print off a physical copy to leave with them. So that way they can't get lost in their emails or their texts, or if they have trouble with technology, they can't get to it. So you have a physical copy. And then one thing that I've found a ton of success with is bringing a little kit with you, a pad, some stretch wrap, and offering to demonstrate how your movers are going to protect their items, and offer to wrap a chair or something small. And I've never had somebody take me up on that, but almost every single time that I've done that, I've booked that job right there on the spot, or sometime shortly after, after they've reviewed it with their spouse or whatever the objection was. So the offering to do the demonstration has been a huge closer for me, and it's a super simple thing to do. Make sure your salesperson knows how to do that. But I love that, and I love the reciprocity, bringing them something, and you got to ask for the business.
Love it, Wade. Well, that was a good one.
All right. Well, this concludes our Tighten Up Tidbit for today. I'm your host, Wade Swikle, alongside Chad Coatney, where we address the questions you have for Tighten Up training. And until next time, tighten up.